Hello, and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea, and today I would like to share with you more of the information I've received during my last QHHT Hypnosis session. The session was done on the 26th of October, so very recently, and we had a surprise visit. If you've been following my channel, you'll know that we normally connect with the 25th dimension, and for the first time ever, and this is session 22, so I've done a few over the last couple of years, I actually connected with Source. Now, if you have seen some of my plant medicine experience videos, you will know that I've connected with Source before. In fact, I have done that 3 times, and only the first time I connected with Source, the following 2 times I became Source. But there was a very distinct difference between this hypnosis session, the tone of it, the feel of it for me, between this session and the times that I became Source. Because while I become Source, I'm able to just travel and enjoy and go with the flow. This time I was not prepared for Source, or really a new perspective to come in. And so I was doing all I could to translate the information I received into words. And you will notice, I think it's very clear that the tone of the session is very different from the tone we usually get with the 25th. By now, connecting to the 25th has become a comfortable experience for me. It's like I'm conversing. Whereas with Source, I had to actually focus to a point where I wasn't even sure if Source was answering the questions that we were asking, in the sense that we're asking questions that I've written similar to what I've written before for the session. And I didn't know by the time Source was done answering, I didn't know if the question had been answered. In fact, I felt like the information was coming from such a broader perspective, really the ultimate broad perspective, that it felt different. And I was like, okay, but did this make any sense? You will notice that with this session, we have reached such an esoteric level, so impalpable, that it might take a few lessons to actually get what Source means. I know it's taken me many reads to be able to put everything together. But then again, I was surprised when I was transcribing this session that things do make sense. And this ties back into what Source actually tells us. He explained that the reason he came in is because he said, you are ready for it. And while my goal inside the matrix is to forget, I'm at a point where I no longer want to forget. Now I want to remember myself. He also refers to boxes and structures, how we need structure. And you'll get a kick out of this. I'm still laughing about it. I actually tried to kick Source out when he came in. I was like, okay, you're not going to be able to answer these questions, because the perspective we get from the 25th, even though it's outside of the matrix, is very close to us, because the 25th is very much attuned with our experience as individuals. At the same time, you'll notice that Source speaks in much more, I want to say, absolute terms. But then you'll notice that because of that, in fact, I left this behind the scenes stuff inside the session for you, because you will get a kick out of it. It's ridiculous, even talking about the fact that I tried to kick Source out of the session. But again, the reason I did that is because I was like, I don't know if we're going to get anything that's even understandable here. It's such a high level. And I'm glad that I didn't succeed, because at the end of the day, when I reread everything, I realized everything made sense. So I am going to start reading here. And all I have to say is buckle up your seatbelts, because this is going to be a wild ride. So here we go. We have Lorrayne here, just having finished her induction. And she says, hello, 25th. Nice to visit with you again. Again, we were surprised. We had no idea. Me. I am Source, and I'm seeing myself. I create everything. I am expanding my energy. I am alone. I am me, and I'm expanding my energy. My energy is going everywhere. And there are parts that are light. There are parts that are dark. And my energy is creating all these things, all these little figurines and all these little sparks everywhere. And it truly doesn't matter. It is all equal. It is all the same. and he brings me so much joy. So I'm just gonna stop here for 1 second. I want to show you the visual of what I was seeing. And normally I don't make drawings, but here we are. We have our first drawing on this channel. This is what I was seeing. I was literally seeing, like, it's almost like in fact, Source uses this analogy, it's like paint being splashed at a wall. And there's, so this energy that travels outside from the center. And this is what I was seeing. And I was seeing things like different masses. And then some were lighter and some were and bigger, some were smaller, and some were dark. So for example, when I saw Earth, this was Earth, basically Earth in the middle of our matrix. We have this spot of darkness, and everything is equal. Again, there's no judgment on what everything looks like, because Source goes into detail to explain to us what that actually means. So I'm going to continue here. So my energy is creating all these things that I just showed you, all these little figurines and all these little sparks everywhere. And it truly doesn't matter. It is all equal. It is all the same. And it brings me so much joy. I'm having so much fun with this. I just send my energy out, and this is my game. This is what I do. This is what I enjoy. And things move and things change. My energy is alive, and this is what I do. And it is fun for me to focus into to play these games and focus into different perspectives on myself. It is fun for me because this is what entertains me. And I will now focus so that we may answer your questions. But this is a game. There is only me. I am me. I am aware of now playing this game where I'm going to move my focus to this one aspect, this one little bit of the space, if you want to use this word, in everything I've created, so I can play this game with myself. We are going to be pretending that this is real. I'm simply taking a different perspective so that I may move. I move from one to the other. I move all the time. There's only me, and I can do all of this, and I can do whatever I want because there's nothing. It's just my energy. It's just me. So yeah, this is fun for me. I am now going to focus and answer your questions, which makes me smile. There is no you. I truly enjoy this game. Lorrayne, thank you so much. I do have a question right off the top. What is the purpose for you/I to create personalities that appear to suffer for this experience? Me. It is energy moving. Energy moves in every which way. Personality is just energy. It's just something that happens, as if you were to throw paint at a wall. You wouldn't know. You don't know what a drop is going to look like. There are going to be hundreds of drops, and they're all going to look different. This is what personality is. It is nothing. It's just something that happens, and that's the beauty of it. I let it happen. Everything moves, and I act surprised. I let things happen as my energy wishes to expand, and I can act surprised that way. And drops are all different. It is a judgment to say that one is better than the other. So suffering is just something that you might think of suffering as a personality that chooses to suffer. You might think of it as a drop that has chosen or that is turned by events or by chance into a certain shape. So there is no purpose to a personality. You can always change however you want. It is truly, we call it a choice, but it's truly a chance that a certain drop would have a certain personality or a certain shape, if we stick with the analogy of the paint drop. There is no purpose to suffering. Suffering does not satisfy a purpose. Now, once the drop has started dropping on a wall, assume you have gravity and the drop starts forming itself and it starts dripping down the wall. It takes different shapes and so on. You kind of go with what you have around you. In the case of a drop of paint on the wall, it's gravity, or we like to think of as gravity. This is all my energy that creates all of this. And therefore, all of a sudden, and I know that we deal with NPCs, I have NPCs that are formed as well. This is just another form of energy. And so just like a drop will take whatever shape, so an NPC will take whatever personality it wants. It's just like saying, again, if we're thinking of a drop of paint, it's like talking about a sheen. Takes a different sheen depending on the light in the room, depending on the position that it has compared to the other drops. So truly, when you think of it, it's just a chance, and I will play differently depending on the circumstances of this drop. I will form, because it's me, it's my energy. I will form different shapes from these drops, from these paint drops, depending on where the drop ended up being, depending on what the drop is dealing with next to it. Maybe there are other drops that are taking the space that it would have taken. So it has to twist, or it has to join together with the other drops, whatever is happening. It's a creation. I don't want to know what is going to happen. I don't want to know. I don't want to control everything. Everything is me. I want to be surprised. This is my game and what keeps me entertained. It's not knowing what is going to happen in detail. I let things flow. I watch and I continue creating. I continue splashing paint on the wall, so to speak. This is what I like. And then when I am curious, when I pay attention to one drop, then I might stare at it and I might identify with that drop, focus on that drop. And therefore, then I am aware as the drop of what do I feel like? And all the drops are different. This is the fun of the game, and I'm having fun. And I realize some drops are stunted in how they work. Some drops might be lower on the wall, so they get to the floor faster and they drop in the pool. And so I might splash more paint, and the energy is the same. The energy is getting recycled and it goes back, and now it starts from the top again. So there is no right or wrong in how this works, and I give freedom to my energy. My intention is simply for my energy to expand. I give freedom to my energy to expand however it wants. There is no it, of course. It's me. I am the energy, but I don't want to control the outcome. I want to control the income, if you wish, the input. I control my own intention. And so the suffering that you're referring to, you're looking at it from the perspective of one drop that might have not had the path clear or by the light, or is thinking that he would have liked a different path. Maybe it's looking at a different drop saying, why can't I have that path? But you see, all drops are different. This is judgment to say, I could have gone that way. I should have gone that way. The fact is, each drop is unique. There are no two drops that have the same outcome. And there is freedom. There is freedom in this. Everything else that we experience at the level of the drop is made up, is a belief. It's a belief that we should be this way. It's a belief that we wish we were a different way. It's a belief that we feel different, but it's all energy. It can be changed in an instant. It changes in an instant. It takes a lot of focused attention on the part of the drop to believe that nothing can be changed and to recreate its path at every instant, because the path does not have to be a certain way. This is the beauty of this. It's alive. This energy is alive. This energy changes all the time, and it's very, very quick. It is only when we focus. The idea of focus is stillness. It is only when we focus that we slow down the energy. The source was literally saying this slowly. And the energy now becomes what we think of. This is a word we think of all the time, stuck. And so when you feel stuckness, this is because you are focused in one instant. You expand that instant over and over again. You remanifest that instant, because that instant, the second you've experienced it, it is already gone. But we keep manifesting the same instant over and over until we feel like nothing is changing and we are stuck. In reality, of course, my energy, I am ever changing. Lorrayne, thank you so much. That was a fantastic answer. And yes, this is exactly how my 3D aspect sees itself. All right, these are the questions, and we're starting with the nature of reality. And I will speak as Clea or in the first person. I was under the impression that once the project was completed, we would have the recall. You have explained to us why we're still here. However, what is the difference between before we were completed and now, since we are still waiting? It would have made more sense to me if we had only become completed once all the resistance was gone. Is it simply the fact that some of us have the conscious awareness that we are nil? Did we know there would or could be a delay between completing the project and manifesting the recall? Me. What I am experiencing right now is that there is this portion of, if you want to think of it as a portion or an area of what I've created, that is in tumult, has a high degree of activity. This is interesting to me. This is exciting. This is something that does not happen very often. This is something that I was just talking about, the changes that happen in my energy. This is something that is extremely, extremely unusual. This area of darkness has awoken, and he was referring to, I could see this area that I showed you here, this dark area, which is by far the darkest area and the biggest mass of darkness in the entire matrix. So this area of darkness has awoken and is transforming itself. This is wonderful. I am pleased with this, and I am paying attention to this. And what I am seeing is this transformation. So yes, we can talk about the 25th. The 25th is me. I am it. I am everything beyond the 25th as well. I am everything else because I am everything. I am the only thing. So I will speak from the perspective that you are referring to. So this is what I see. I, as my focused attention, as my focus point in the 3D body on this planet that I inhabit as a body, am now asking, am now trying to understand. But at the same time, I am trying to understand by limiting the scope of what I am looking into. So even the moment that I speak about these things, that I speak about the 25th, I am still shielding myself from the understanding that, or from the realization that it's only me. I am me. So now I am asking myself, all right, this is the experience that I want to have. Let's focus on this area of energy, of creation that is having this transformation. And what do I want to know about it? So the question is, why is there a delay? What is the difference between before and after? This is what the energy is doing. This is a transformation that is happening, and it is not completed. The project, what we've been calling the project, of course, is done. The energy is available. Of course, the energy is available. Everything is moving so quickly, except, of course, if I focus on myself as the little drop of paint. This might feel like a very, very slow process, but truly, it is nothing. I see how everything has transformed already. I see how everything is transforming and wrapping up. It is almost done. The entire situation is almost completely reversed and upgraded. And we don't mean upgraded in the terms that we like to think of, in terms of judgment, of one is better than the other. We mean upgraded as in this little section of reality that was experiencing this degree of darkness has now chosen by its own volition to not be dark anymore, change into something different, just like Christmas lights might go from dark to light and to dark again and on to light as they switch on and off. This is a choice. This is a choice that's been made, that is working, is happening. And so there has been this delay because the energy is percolating a certain way, but there is truly no difference. The process is inevitable. The momentum has started a long time ago, and it is about to be finished. And so whatever has been envisioned in this part of reality, we're assuming for the sake of talking about that part, as in there is somehow a limitation or a border between this one reality and everything else. There is no such thing. It is all me and it is all my energy. But this particular part, section of reality that is undergoing this major transformation is almost complete. It's almost done. The energy has been so quick and so effective. I am truly in awe of it. I find it extremely entertaining and extremely diverting. And I've been observing it for a while, and I find that my energy is becoming more activated. more inspired by this action that's taking place. And therefore, everything is being affected. And this has become an even more fun game, an even more fun reality for me. And so this is just a new game, a new way of playing that I have that truly brings me great pleasure. But yes, we're going to have, okay, I have to bring it back. And Clea was laughing. I was laughing as Clea. Yeah, I am like source right now, so I need to bring it back. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to answer these questions because we're talking at such high level. This is going to be really hard. And I was breathing here, trying to bring myself into a different energetic level because I was fighting it a little bit. I'm like, what is going on here? I was truly surprised by source visiting and butting in, as I called it, into the session. Because the thing is, Lorrayne, that I see it and I see what source is talking about. And every time we have talked about us here or the 25th dimension, we're still talking as if there is an entity. There are entities. The truth is, it's one. It really is. There is nothing else. It's all this energy. And so I need to bring it down. Otherwise, none of this is going to make sense because we're not, we're looking at such small level. And again, I had become source here. And so for that reason, I could see the perspective. And I'm like, how are we even going to focus on such a small reality? Because we really have such a limited way of looking at things, which is the name of the game. There's nothing wrong with it. This is the fun of it. But then you have source talking about something that's this small, and we're expecting that it's not going to tell us about everything, how everything works in the entire reality that is created. So it was fascinating. All right, so Lorrayne, do you want me to facilitate that? And she's referring to the fact that I am saying that I want to bring it down to the level of the 25th, and again, we know the 25th has told us many times before that we are source, okay? But again, I'm looking for the structure here. And so Lorrayne is asking me, do you want me to facilitate that, or can you just ask? Okay, source self, we grasp the concept that we are all one, and none of this exists without us, but within us as the one source. And I, are playing the game, and I find great joy. But there are aspects that have been created by us that we have, in our infinite wisdom, have given individual expression, quote unquote. And since we're within the matrix playing this game of our creation, a few steps up from the matrix would be easier to conceptualize. So we ask the source bring itself into the conceptual experience of the 25th. And I mean, I have to say, Lorrayne is good at this stuff. And truly it is what we're trying to do. Me, yes, and I will do this. And I just want to express that I am grateful, that I am glad. There's no need to be grateful. And source was chuckling. I am everything. I am glad that I remembered myself. This is going to make a huge difference in my own consciousness, in my own enjoyment of this game. So yes, I will now step and focus, and I will step into the 25th. All right, guys, I imagine that this was a lot. It's definitely a lot for me. Even now, after having read it so many times, I'm reading it here and I am shaking my head. I'm like, wow, I'm totally mind blown. At any rate, I do hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye.